back. If you caught last week's vlog, you know I started a weaving project during a busy week. I brought my mini loom everywhere. From gymnastics practice, volunteering, school pickup line, and this week we're finishing it. This is part 2 of the flower weaving journey, and honestly, it took more trial and error than I was anticipating. This morning started like most with making up some breakfast. And FYI, I'm not always cooking up sausage. Sometimes we do cereal and fruit too. But we have a later start to our school than most around us, so we are able to take our time and ease into the day. Then I usually pack up a school lunch, and while she eats, I grab a few quiet minutes and sit and work on my weaving. I get questions and comments where I find time to craft. The truth is I don't always. That's why it's important to squeeze it in where I can. Here I was able to add some fringe to the weaving. I'll brush it out and shape it up later. First, off to school. Then I had a special day scheduled to get my hair done. Don't forget about that self-care. Here's another moment where I took 10-15 minutes in between laundry and dishes and cleaning up the house to work on my weaving. It's not about crafting for hours, it's about finding small moments to do something creative. Okay, real talk, this part totally tripped me up a bit. I didn't have enough warp left at the top and the bottom to secure knots like I can easily do with my big loom. I kind of did a little troubleshooting, taking some extra string. I was gonna maybe weave it through all the loops and tie it together just to get it out of the way so it doesn't stick out to the side. Originally you want to just knot it up so the design up above doesn't stretch out and loosen up. This idea didn't really work. I had to scrap it and try something else. So then I was thinking to take smaller pieces of string and tie a knot onto each loop. Then I could tie those pieces together to secure the bottom of the warp. This actually worked great for the bottom, but not so much for the top portion. You could see the knots up above, and it just made it look really messy and not the look that I was going for. So I figured this out, of course, after I had tied it all together. So I had to undo it all and then come up with a different solution for the top part. Next time I make a weaving, I can be more mindful of the struggle I had with these loops and just leave more room if I want. The bottom portion here doesn't really matter if it's messy because it's hidden by the fringe. The mini loom is awesome for projects on the go, to take it with me, put it in my purse. Which, talking about taking craft projects on the go, are you someone that typically does a project in little bits and pieces? Or do you only like to start a project if you're able to finish it? I feel like that's probably a little easier if you have the direction or if you're following a guide of what to make. I typically just kind of make it up as I go. That's part of like the creative process that I like to do. I'm just always curious how other people like to craft. After school, we wanted to enjoy this nice day, so we jumped on our bikes and headed around the block. Followed up by a little crafting in the shade. Still haven't figured out what to do with the top portion of the weaving, but I'm determined to get this figured out and done. I tied the extra strings to the top, but that's kind of where I am stuck. Since I was kind of in a rut about it, I thought I'd move on to other areas where I knew what I wanted to do, which was brushing out this back layer of the fringe. It gets nice and fluffy, which I thought the blue laying on top would look nice. This process ended up being a lot more frustrating than I anticipated as well. I have mysteriously misplaced my very nice brush that you saw in the beginning of this video, and I looked for it for probably over an hour, so I had to resort to using this comb, which took probably 2 or 3 times longer to brush out this back layer than I wanted it to take. Sick of sitting inside, I headed out onto the deck again. Seriously, this took forever. I could only brush out 1 cord or 2 cords max at a time. Feel free to share your pain and struggles of crafting with me below. Nobody likes to feel alone in their crafting struggles. The next day, I took some time to get outside and weed my garden. Mother's Day is coming up, so I wanted to get it all prepped and ready to go. I usually head to the local market to get some flowers for the season. I have a flower barrel that I like to fill and a big planter in the front. This year I wanted to try something different with one of my planters and kind of make a fountain planter in it, I guess. Stay tuned if you want to see that into fruition. Here's a recap of where we left off. I ended up trimming and shaping the rest of the fringe. Now to decide how to hang it. I've brought a couple options to debate from sanding down a piece of a branch or using a dowel rod, maybe a metal ring. I thought placing the weaving on a canvas could be a cool idea if I painted the background a different color. Then I found this scrap dowel rod that I stained from an old project. Another option I was thinking is to hang it from this picture frame. Here's the dreaded top that I haven't figured out what to do with yet. I might just try attaching it to the dowel rod. That's what I decided to go with. Maybe just even like glue it down to the back so it's not like flinging up. Mind you, this is for my daughter, so it's kind of a trial and error project. She will never know the agony that I spent over it, but she will love it either way. And here is a problem that can occur when you don't tie the warp down into knots so it's tight. It can create a little space or a hole in the weaving. And voila, we're finally done. Ended the week with stopping by the art fair for a bit, checking out all the different vendors. We came across some fiber art booths, which really sparked a fire in me of really wanting to follow through and put together a collection. I've been debating over it forever and just haven't pulled the trigger. I was thinking of starting a series on it, on just the entire process. Bring you guys along with me from the start to finish, ups and downs. Let me know what you guys think if this is something you're interested in. Thanks for watching, and keep crafting, friends.